Since the dawn of time, man has been curious. And for almost as long, the Vibes Broadcast Network has sought the truth. Investigate, discuss, explore. Okay, maybe in other episodes, but this one is just listen to the vibes.
The views and opinions of our guests may not necessarily reflect those of the host or the Vibes Broadcast Network. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Listen to the Vibes. And I have here my buddy, Matthew Arrowood, and he's all the way in Houston, my old stomping grounds when I was growing up. And anyway, we just became friends one day, and we talk and joke around a lot, and we're going to learn a little bit about him, but we're just going to talk about whatever today. This is going to be a free-for-all day. So
my favorite.
Exactly. So tell us about you.
Dude, I don't even know where to start, but yeah, like Kyle was saying, man, I am pretty much your basic 40 or plus year old. Fuck it, I'm 44. Father of two beautiful twin girls that are 9 but think they're 19, live in Houston. Wasn't born here, but I got here as fast as I could. I was actually not even born in this country. If you can guess where I was born, I'll send you a fruit basket.
Argentina.
South Africa.
Oh, well, I was close. Not kidding.
Yeah, you were so close. Yeah, man, I started podcasting with my Brocast like in April. Met you via Instagram, I believe. And when I saw your show and what you were doing, I was digging it. And, I just love finding people of similar ilk. I use that word a lot now because I like it. But dude, I know everybody's got their own reasons, right?
Yeah.
I think yours was a lot. I think yours was a lot more like where mine is as far as why did you start? Like why do you podcast? Why do you do what you do? And my reason was very simple. It was seemed like the day and age of conversation was dying. You can't talk to somebody or get to know somebody or really get your point across properly with 144 characters of text or less in a tweet or text or a post. Fuck all that. I mean, it has its place, but it's ridiculous. The time for real conversation, I think, now more than ever, needs to come back in person. Like this is even enough, but it's face to face. I see you. I see what you're saying. I see your reflection of your voice. I hear it. I see your face. I get what you're saying. If I said something on text, but I meant it in a sarcastic way, how do you know that?
That's one of my points. It comes up that, you know what, you have to really be careful when you're texting because it's like maybe this is not coming out the way I wanted it to. Because I could understand, you getting the wrong idea, but
yeah, but if you don't know the person well enough, dude, I've even had problems where I've had text, conversations go wrong because they didn't know I was being sarcastic, but I thought clearly they knew me well enough to know I was being sarcastic. But that's the point. And, I, by just nature, I watch a lot of podcasts, big, Joe Rogan stuff, and then smaller stuff and, all kinds of shit. One, because I like to see what I think I'm doing right and what I think I'm doing wrong and how I can improve. And I know you and I were talking before we got on air about this, and it's interesting, dude, when you start to do this and you look at yourself long enough and hear yourself long enough, you're like, I should really fix that. That's annoying. Yeah. The way you move your face when you do that, or the way you say this, and the way you look a certain way when you say things. And the thing I found was I was using transitional phrases too much. I was repeating it too much, and to me, maybe other people didn't catch it, but I did. So I was like, I got to change that up. And it's
I do that myself.
And it's an art, man. Like what we do is an art, because when you have conversations, talking is an art that we take for granted because we do it every day. But you don't watch yourself do it. You don't hear yourself do it. You don't see how other people see you unless you're doing this. So anybody with a podcast, I don't care whether it's visual, audio, or both, you've got balls, because a lot of people don't. A lot of people have no inclination whatsoever as to how hard it is to do it, but they also don't even want to do it, don't even want to try. And the rule is, and I'm close, but you're certainly past, and that's that most people quit before they hit 10 episodes. If you hit 10 episodes and keep going, you're good.
Well, I must be doing something right. I'm at
Doing something
350, right. I think.
Yeah.
350 different videos now. Jeez, man.
Yeah, man. That's the thing. Like your content, the more and more you put out, the better you get at your craft. And I didn't notice that, dude, at first. You know, I was just like, yeah, it's fun. You know, I want to do it. I've always wanted to do it. Rogan certainly was a huge influence, but I just like to talk, dude. It used to get me in trouble a lot when I was a kid. You know, but I'm like, whatever. You either like what I have to say or you don't. But I think a lot of people, what I was trying to get back to with the texting and shit is, you know, that's why the algorithms and the headlines and clickbait and like, that's why I don't watch mainstream media anymore, because it's just geared to gaslight both sides. Yes. And they don't talk to you or me. They're talking to the crazy 10% on both sides. And as soon as I realized that, I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? You know, whether you're political or not, politics and politicians are geared towards talking to the people they think will vote for them.
Mm-hmm.
They don't give a fuck about you or me.
They don't.
They don't. They're talking about who do I think is really, who do I need to talk to that will get me my votes? And never mind that. Before we get to that, mainstream media's job is to either make you scared or make you addicted. So if it bleeds, it leads. If it's fear, it sells. And it's bullshit. All of it's bullshit.
Oh,
and you can, I mean, watch, do you ever watch, or have you ever heard of Breaking Point, the podcast?
You know what? I think I have.
You will love it, dude. It's with Crystal Ball, and she's hot, which doesn't hurt.
Swing.
Yeah. She is something else. I'd love to have you on the show, by the way, Crystal, if you're watching. And then her counterpart, Seeger. I'm saying it wrong, and I apologize. They are both. So he is a right-wing conservative guy. She's more of the left-wing liberal Democrat, right? But they both work for Fox, MSNBC, bigger affiliates. And they break down the bullshit and they tell it how it is. They've been on Rogan a couple of times. They are outstanding. They used to be on The Hill, and then they were like, you know what, fuck it. And they made their own. And it's called The Breaking Point. And it is 15 minutes of no bullshit. I will catch you up with everything you really need to know and care about in the world. And they call everybody out on their bullshit, both sides. It's amazing. It's hilarious because she'll sit there and say, yeah, I know the Dems are fucked in 2022. And he'll say, yeah, I know that if Trump tries to run, we're probably fucked too, because I don't think he'll win. And I think this, and I think that. They're not scripted, you know, they're not regurgitating talking points, you know, and that's a conversation. And that's why I was saying, keep it real and just speak. Quit worrying about who you might offend or who might cancel you. Fuck it. If I get canceled for telling people, whoever they are, what I believe, then okay, you know, that's fine.
Well, if you notice, like the Young Turks, they've got a huge following.
Yep.
And they're pretty much far left. And then you've got somebody, say, like Matt Walsh, who's going to be more farther right, you know. People either love them or they hate them, but they've got the numbers. So there are people out there. So say, don't matter if somebody doesn't like what you have to say. Oh, well, I mean, for the most part, when I do my shows, I try to avoid the politics and stuff because I'm trying to bring people together to, you know, to bring some inspiration and bring a little positivity. But you know what? Every once in a while, we'll have that show where, you know, we dive into a little bit of the social justice stuff or other politics. Yeah. And sure. I don't ever stop anybody. I've had people that have been totally opposite side of the table from me, but we still have a good conversation.
Oh yeah. And that's the thing. Like, I think all those things are just designed almost just to get in the way of how people really are, dude. I mean, you know, like we're both in Texas, and if you watch mainstream media, you would think that there are people at each other's throats all the time via left versus right, and that's not true. I got Democrats that are my neighbors that are very normal and beautiful people, and we both agree on mostly everything. I mean, it's. I guess my whole point was, don't put me in a box.
Exactly.
I don't fit in a box, even though they all think that we should be. I'm not.
We worked so hard for years to get out of that, and now they're trying to put labels on everything. I don't get it.
It's so ridiculous, dude. I'm just like, they think, everything moves in cycles and whatnot. And the people that I do like actually choose to watch and listen to are few and far in between. But the ones that I do, they've been saying, Rogan's one of them. And there's Jocko Willink, who's a fucking beast. Those guys are awesome. The David Goggins and people like that of the world that, I think that the woke movement and everything that's been going on the last, call it whatever, 3 years, kind of getting old, man. It's like people are kind of, we're done with it. Like COVID, like, okay, what's next? What's next? Let's move on.
And we're bombarded with it on a daily basis. And it doesn't, even if you don't watch television, it's in the comic books, it's in the movies, it's in, it's everything. It's just, and I'm like you, I am done. I'm sick of it. I want to move on. I want to be able to have a conversation with somebody. And even if we don't agree, we still get along.
And that's the thing. Like, I realized finally, I was like, so what? I didn't give a shit about politics or anything until I was 20. And even then I was in college and I was stupid and I didn't know. So call it 20 years. All right. I'm 44 now. And it took me that long to finally realize, after all the stuff that's happened in the past year, that it's not politics. It's what some of my friends who have been on the show call politricks, which is true, because there's no sense in people that are intelligent and that you love and that you're friends with. Why would you get into an argument about something you're never going to change their mind about? It's not like you're going to say something and they're going to be like, oh, you're right. What I've thought about for the last 15 years and what I believe in, you're right, I'm wrong. That's never going to happen.
Right.
And what is it? It's not worth alienating yourself or losing a friend or a family member's love or trust over something as stupid as politics that aren't even really talking to you and me. They're not really. So that's why and that's why I saw it with a lot of my friends on Facebook when the whole shit was going down back, during the election and all that. And I'm like, damn. And I got stuck into it because I thought I had to combat, I thought I had to stick up for my tribe, but then I realized this is dumb and it's just a waste of energy. And I hadn't brought it up before, but you ever heard of Ryan Holiday, the author?
I don't think I have, no.
I think you might dig his stuff, dude. He wrote a trilogy of books, and it's all about Stoicism. And the first one is The Obstacle is the Way. The next one is Ego is the Enemy. And then the third one, I always forget the name of the third one because I haven't gotten to it yet. But it teaches you all about Stoicism. And it talks about how it's okay to choose to not have an opinion about things, like you just said. We can have a conversation. I don't care if I don't agree with you or not, but it's about, you're never here, you're right here, you're focused, you're always never panicked, you're always focused. And no matter what the obstacle is, you either go over it, around it, under it, or through it. And no matter what the obstacle is, it's the way, because it makes you stronger by getting through it. And how you're supposed to look at adversity and obstacles in your life as a blessing, because they're teaching you, it's giving you the answers as to how do you get through that, so that if it happens again, you've got the notes, you know how to do it. Doesn't matter what it is. It could be the worst, most terrible thing you can think of that's completely insurmountable. There's always a way to get through it. And so if you're into that kind of thing, highly recommend. And it's easy reading, dude. Like the first one's like 210 pages. Same thing as the next one. They're quick reads. They're outstanding. They've been around a while, and they have a lot of cool excerpts and quotes from Marcus Aurelius and a lot of famous orators and philosophers and warriors and Genghis Khan, like all kinds of amazing historic, and even very successful businessmen like Thomas Edison and Benjamin Franklin and Ford, and Tesla, and
Tesla was the man.
yeah, dude, and Thomas Edison, how he just never ever said no. He never quit, ever. He didn't care if it took him 10,000 times before he got that damn hair of a horse hair that actually worked in the filament of the light bulb. Had he quit, he never would have gotten there. That kind of stuff. It's just inspiring, dude. And I think that if you surround yourself with that kind of info and with that kind of content, that's what's going to hopefully come out when I speak to others. I don't know, man. I just think that it's now more than ever more important for people to talk, have a conversation, talk. How do you know? Don't. How do you know what you like and don't like, and the other person does or doesn't?
I mean, if you're gonna take a point opposite of what I believe, and you're gonna try to convince me of something, come with me with facts.
Yep.
And if you notice, if somebody's talking on a subject, you could tell that they're just listening to the talking heads.
Yeah, they were just repeating the talking points.
Exactly. Yeah. And no facts whatsoever. You throw facts at them. What do? Not only they get pissed off, but the first thing is you're either you're a homophobe or you're a racist or you're sexist and all this kind of stuff. I'm sick of hearing that too. You know what? Yeah, I'm not stupid. There are people like that in the world, otherwise they wouldn't have those words, But I'm sorry, not every straight white male is going to be a misogynistic, racist.
Wait, you mean you don't believe in the red pill theory and all that?
I'm really sick of it, and I'll tell you, you will find that I am probably the least prejudiced person in the world because some of my best friends are Houston Texans fans.
That's a good one. Hey, look, I'm your friend, but don't put me in that. I can't do it. I just can't. Okay. Yeah. When it comes to NFL, I can't do it, and I'll tell you why. I was a Houston Texans fan as soon as it started, but I was a Love You Blue Oilers fan first.
I was too.
They were the fucking shit. And are you a Cowboys fan?
I am.
Okay, so I love you anyway, my brother. But told with Americans team, get the fuck out. Just stop. But I'm kidding. If you're America's team, you had won a playoff game since 1993. Just saying.
95.
95. Sorry, 95. Those 2 years. Yeah. But no, man. So the Oilers break our hearts every year in the playoffs when they were here. We would lose like every year to Buffalo or Kansas. Pittsburgh, yeah. And then or the Bengals. And then they leave and we don't have shit for years. And then a badass guy, Bob McNair was a badass man. Yeah. And he started a great team and he had a great thing going for a while, but we didn't really get to much. And then ever since he's passed, ownership just sucks and they make terrible decisions. And old Massage Watson did what he did.
Man, don't even get me started on that, because you know what, when he was in college, we were big fans.
Yeah, so was I.
And then of course when he went to Houston, I'm like, I'm done with him now. But but you were talking about how the Oilers, I mean, I was a diehard Oilers fan, except for when they played my Cowboys, but I was diehard. I met Earl Campbell at Sears, believe it or not.
Oh, you lucky bastard.
And when they moved to Tennessee, I actually, started following the Titans. Yeah. And by the way, when we went to Tennessee, I actually got to go to the stadium. That was pretty freaking awesome. Pretty cool. It's beautiful and right on the water too. That river runs right by it. It is beautiful.
Yeah, I think sometimes people around here might gravitate towards them when they get sick of the Texans. But dude, I'm just saying, but there are very hardcore Texans fans here. It just is what it is. There's theories on that I have, but I think we were talking a little bit before we started recording about the NFL. And, I'm a fantasy football player, but and I've made it official. I already told my guys, I've been doing this shit for 15 years and I was good at it, man. It's fun. But I just don't have fun doing it anymore because
I'm done with it.
I'm just done with it. I'd rather watch baseball. I'd rather watch my Astros. Don't give me the 2017 bullshit. I can refute that all day long if you like. Everybody does that shit. But we got caught. I get it. Whatever. But baseball, I'm not a basketball fan at all.
No, I've never really been a basketball fan either.
I mean, I'm UFC. I'm actually, dude, kind of getting into soccer, believe it or not.
Really?
Yeah, dude. The Premier League is that one of my daughters plays soccer. And so I was like, well, I better get to know the game, you know, and she loves it. So I'm like, I better get to know it. The more I get to know it, it's beautiful and it's aggressive and it's hard. And these guys are unbelievable athletes and girls. So, but really, man, it's baseball. But I love football so much. I played it. I've loved it my whole life. So I'm sometimes stuck. Like we're coming into a part of the year where it's gonna suck, bro. When college football's over and all you got left is NFL, golf hadn't started yet, baseball hadn't started yet. That's why WWE used to get me through, you know? Vince McMahon and the boys used to get me through those times, you know? But now that's unwatchable, in my opinion, because the writers have gone to shit.
Yeah.
They're wasting talent that they have there. And it sucks. And they'll make it, they'll come back. Of course, they're WWE, but I love them to death. And I've met a lot of beautiful people in the organization that work for the company. The talent, you will never find nicer people than wrestlers, period. They are the nicest. They were so nice to my kids. And, you know, but when you see them not being used properly or, you know, being taken advantage of in the show, it pisses you off because you're like, that's a really cool person. And they work their asses off. And I read a book that Ric Flair wrote, his autobiography, and he said, there is nothing fake about wrestling at all. He goes, it's a dance. He goes, it's not fake, it's scripted, and there's a difference. Big difference. He goes, you know, ask the Undertaker, how do I know that wrestling is real? 17 surgeries, that would maybe tell you it's real.
Yeah.
The outcomes are scripted, but the acts are real.
Yeah. How do you fake flying off of a top rope and hitting that mat, you know?
It's a beautiful dance. And like if you and I are in the ring and you're a noob and you don't know what you're doing, and we do a move and you don't catch me the right way or hold me the right way, you can kill me, you can hurt me. And it's why, you know, there's all kinds of stories about the older veterans that are in the ring. They'll usually bring them in with the younger guys so they can teach them. But yeah, dude, maybe they're not actually punching them full blown into the face. There's ways to do it, but there's no way to fake a body slam, dude. That canvas, I've been on it. Yeah, it's not a boxing canvas and it's not concrete, but it still fucking hurts if you don't know what you're doing. And by the way, they get body slammed on concrete too, and through tables and chairs. That shit's real. People are like, oh, they're fake. No, it's not. That blood is not fake. Maybe in some institutions they do that, you know, but if you ever meet a wrestler from back in the day, and it used to be called if they take juice or not. And I don't mean that kind of juice. I mean, like, if in the script it says you're going to get juice tonight, it means you're going to get cut. So they used to put like little bitty razor blades on their in their tape, and they would know just how to kind of scrap against the skin. You look at any guy from that era, and their heads are all creased up, dude, from all that scarring. Man, that shit's real.
And have you heard that Hulk Hogan isn't doing too well?
Yeah, I've heard. I don't know the specifics of it. I mean, but that's what sucks, dude, is these guys have done so much in such a short period of time of their lives, and what they put their bodies through. They just don't live long. Like Ric Flair is an anomaly anyway. I mean, he's the GOAT. I don't care who you are, what you say, the man is the GOAT. He's the GOAT. And all the GOATs will tell you he's the GOAT, you know? But sure, he's had his health. He's been dodging death for years. They'll tell you that. He's been in airplane crashes and near-death stuff and heart attacks and health problems and comas and all that shit. But yeah, I don't know what's going on with Hulk. All I know is that when I was a kid, dude, he was immortal, you know?
Well, be honest with you, I haven't really watched wrestling since Mid-South Wrestling.
Oh, that's back in the day.
Yeah. Hacksaw Jim Duggan. And
That's a guy I met and actually had the privilege of drinking with behind backstage at WrestleMania 30 in Dallas.
oh, wow.
And Rowdy Piper. I was able to meet him. Beautiful human being, man. Those guys are the nicest dudes. But Hacksaw, especially, man, they're just the nicest, salt of the earth human beings, dude. You would think they're not, but they are. All of them. And these are legends you're talking, you know?
Oh, yeah.
But those are back in the day. Yeah.
My buddy, his mom used to work at this truck stop in the diner, and every Saturday night after wrestling was over with, they would come in there and eat. And man, he'd come back and he'd have autograph after autograph after autograph. Like, dang, man, you're so lucky.
Oh yeah, man. I loved it. And all my friends, like I stopped watching. I watched when all my friends watched when we were kids. And then like through high school, I had better things to do, right? So I didn't watch it. But then I got back to it in college. And then I kind of took a break. And then I came back to it. And then luckily my sister, she started working for him. And I was like, oh, please don't ever leave. This is a dream job for me. Don't ever leave there. And I'm very lucky to have a sister like I do, because I lived vicariously a lot of childhood dreams through her kindness, that she allowed my kids and myself to go through and meet people I never would have met. Never. I'm talking, you name them, I've met them. And they are all just, like I said, I never met any of them, young or old, male, female, that were ever anything but just unbelievably genuine people.
Yeah, then the sad thing is you have to be careful the when you go to meet your heroes. Sometimes, man, they let you down, and then you can't even watch what they're in anymore. I was that way when I met Patrick Stewart.
Oh, really? Wow.
And he was a jerk and a half to me, and I can't watch Star Trek Next Generation anymore because he's such a jerk.
I can kind of see that with his accent and shit. I can see that.
Yeah, I mean, you're at an event, and if you're having a bad day, I understand, but leave that stuff in the dressing room or whatever. You're out meeting the fans. You need to check yourself. And if it's not like I went up there and was rude to him.
Right. But you bring up a good point, because it is all about the environment in which you meet somebody, even if it's normal people that aren't, famous worldwide. But the settings I'm talking about, these aren't meet and greets. These aren't. Yeah. This is them in their own element. You got to act a certain way. You cannot be a mark. You can't be a fan back there. You got to just be cool.
Well, I can understand if you're at a restaurant or something and you see somebody that's famous or whatever, and they're sitting there and they're trying to have a meal and they're having a conversation with somebody, and you're up there, oh, let me take your picture, get a picture with you, and you get an autograph, all that. I can understand getting a little upset at something like that. But when you're at an event like a con or something, sure, then you need to check yourself.
I agree, and that's part of what comes with you being who you are. That's part of the game. But I just always try to be like, if it's an athlete or a musician or whatever, dude, I'm just like, they're people like we are.
Oh yeah.
They appreciate it when you treat them that way. But use your brain, like if they're with their family, leave them the fuck alone. If they're trying to eat, don't, some people like shove in there, like you're saying, that's not okay, dude. If they're with their children, leave them alone. If they're with their family, leave them alone. And if it so happens that you are walking by them and you want to say hi or whatever, fine. But
I'll do that. I'll say, hey, how you doing? But I don't hound them or anything. If they're having time with their family or friends, man, give them a break. You don't want nobody jerking with you when you're getting off work. You just want to relax.
Exactly. But again, dude, it's weird. It's like you and I don't know what that's like, and
Oh, I do.
Yeah. Well, I'm not there yet, Kyle. I'm working. I don't have 356 videos up yet. But no, and anyway, I guess back to the whole thing about conversations and shit like that. That's why I started doing what it is, the podcasting. I think anybody, like I said, if you've got the balls to even do one I respect you.
Yeah.
Because it isn't easy. It's maybe easy for you and me to do it, but it isn't easy to take that chance because you've got to completely forget about anyone's opinion, and you can't worry about shit because
Do it for yourself.
Yeah, you're always going to piss somebody off. You're always going to be, you're always going to be graded by different people, by different things. Like, why is your background like that? Or why is your sound sucks or this? I've seen all kinds of comments about that kind of shit. And I'm like, either one, that's a bot, or two, you're a 16-year-old eating Doritos in your mom's basement, bro. I don't give a fuck. You're a troll. What? I don't care about that. That's why I steal it because it's so awesome. But when Rogan says post and ghost, it's true. But I'm not on Twitter. That's the one thing
I don't do that. Mm-mm.
Yeah, you're smart. I can't because I hear so many toxic stories about it, and it just
I was on for a short time.
Yeah,
but I gave it up quickly and easily. I will not look back, and I'll never get on it again. I could care less.
I mean, dude, if we can do this stuff, like if I could do podcasting without social media, I would do it.
Yeah, unfortunately, you have to have some form of social media.
Yeah, man. I mean, there's times where I feel like a prostitute because I'm trying to post or I'm doing this or doing that. But really, if you look at it, they're using you, use them back, use them as a tool. I don't give a shit what you do with my data. Fine, use it.
I get people that give me advice, and they're always giving me crap because I don't post all the time. But so, I get on there, I post my videos, what have you, and then I'm done. And if I see something come up that, say you had a post up and you're on my feed, I'll take the time to read it and I'll like it and comment on it. Just courtesy to me,
Yeah, sure. I'll always if I see somebody's post, I always give them love, dude. If I know them or if I like them or if I just like their stuff, give them a like, dude. It's not like it
doesn't take anything away from your day. Just 2 seconds to do something like that.
No shit. Even giving somebody a view on a fucking podcast doesn't take anything out of your day. It's just one of those things. But it's been very short time. Just started in April. Pleased with what we've done so far. But what's so funny is like every time you do it, it's like I'm better. I can do that better.
Yeah.
I can say that differently. I don't want to do that at the beginning. I want to do that at the end. That's the beauty. Like you could just always change. And there's nobody to tell you what you can and can't do.
Yeah, definitely don't stay satisfied with what you're doing. 100%. You'll never improve and your shows will suck if you just think, oh man, this is all perfect. I always find something in my videos that I've done wrong. And I'll have people go, that was such a great interview. And I'm like, but yeah, I kept saying and it drives me nuts when other people do it. And I find myself doing it.
I just said, and I shouldn't, it's a bad segue, dude, but there are a lot of tricks to where you don't use ums and ahs, So I did this bullshit Toastmasters. You know what that is? You ever heard of that? It's a public speaking club.
Okay.
Present.
I just did a long
Yeah. But it tells you tricks, and you should never ever. You should have 5 transitional statements that you use that you pull from. So therefore, in regards to moving forward, those kinds of things. But if you have that, you won't be the guy that says and then because it's like that pattern, and I will find that pattern, and that's all I'll hear if somebody's like presenting or talking or even in a monologue.
Mm-hmm.
The trick is if you have like a bank of transitional statements that you can go to in your brain, and if you don't know what to say, I'm still really working hard on this. Pause. It's better to just not say a thing instead of going, and you know what I mean.
I do it all the time.
I know everybody does.
And I try not to, but I do it.
It's an art, and I certainly do it all the time. But my point is if you really concentrate on what you're saying, if you don't know what you want to say, or if you can't think of the word, you can say, I can't think of the word right now, but I'll get back to that. Or pause, just stop talking. It's so much better, even if it's it even might make it more dramatic instead of filling the shit with ums and ahs. Anyway, the joke was, so in these seminars and shit, you can go back and listen to somebody, and there are some speakers that do it for a living, motivational, business, whatever. And you can go back and they have 5 minutes worth of air going, like 5 minutes if you cut it all up.
Wow.
You should never have more than 5 ums or ahs. Like they would sit there in the back and they would sit there and tally it, like how many you did. And you don't know it unless you're thinking about it. And I know that there are people that are very good speakers and who can even write very well. In conversations, let's say, you're very articulate. You know how to speak. But you don't use words you don't know what they mean just because you're trying to sound a certain way, because then it'll become a contrived conversation.
Like Michael Scott.
Yes. Yes. But if you see, there's an my point is if you do that and you make it an effort, you might be great at talking to somebody in a bar or your neighbor or whatever, but as soon as you get the camera on, or as soon as you start recording it, or as soon as it's in front of people, whether 5 or 5,000, they fold sometimes. But if you know, just talk the way you always talk, and if you concentrate on that, it helps me, and it has helped me. There's a lot of presentations I've given in my career that are boring as fuck, but I know that I'm presenting it better than the next guy. I'm very confident in that. If you put me in a hall and you have 5 presenters, I'm not talking professionals, I'm talking normal businessmen. I'll be the best one most times, unless you're some awesome, charismatic CEO kind of person, But let's take Elon Musk. That guy is an absolute treasure. He is a genius. He's probably not even human.
I want to meet that guy.
Oh, I do too. But have you ever heard him talk?
Yeah. Well, he's autistic.
I know. But even that, he's not a good public speaker. So you'll see he doesn't do it much, And they've talked about it on Rogan, like his autism is what makes him extraordinary. He's most times, if I'm not mistaken, most geniuses like that are usually they usually have something like that attributed somehow. I don't know if that's true, but he's certainly not human. I think he was made in a lab. He's just too smart.
And he's humble. That's what gets me. The guy is a billionaire, richest guy in America, and he is just he doesn't even live like you wouldn't know that he was a billionaire by the way he usually dresses and way he lives.
Who wins in a fight, Bezos or Musk?
Good question.
See?
I think
I just put you in the bro science speed round and you didn't know.
My bad. I'm awful. I'm terrible.
When you're a guest on my show, that's what I'll put you through it. But yeah, who wins in a fight?
Well, Elon, I think Elon will, because he's smarter. He's kind of like Batman.
Exactly. And I think he does jujitsu.
Does he really?
I think so. I don't know so. But yeah, I think he beats the fuck out of Bezos, personally. And I would love that, because I know Bezos is an amazing businessman or whatever, but something about him.
Elon Musk is Batman, though. He's like Bruce Wayne.
He's the closest thing to Tony Stark or Bruce Wayne we have in the real world.
Yeah,
for sure.
And he lives up here close to us. So
yeah, I love how he brought everything to Texas. Have you ever driven by the manufacturing plant that he's building in Austin?
It takes, I think they said it takes 3 to 5 minutes to drive by going 60 miles an hour.
Yeah. So my family has lake house in Lake Buchanan and Burnett. So when I'm driving up 75 if I drive up 71, you pass it once you go through, like right on the 130 toll road.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know I didn't even know it was there. I knew it was around, but I didn't know where. I was stunned. Like I had to slow down. I was like, holy shit. It looks like if Tesla had a building, that's it. I mean, it's like a Tesla car, but it's a building. It makes other buildings look stupid. It's like, it's amazing. I mean, they have like Tesla Road exit they're making, and it's like a whole, I think it has its own zip code or something ridiculous.
I wouldn't doubt it.
But it's gorgeous, dude, and it's all see-through. So there's all these huge glass panels on the walls that just go on and on and on, and they're like at this slant, and you can see right in, almost it seems like through the whole building, and you see all the manufacturing lines and all the machines they have set up. Dude, it looks like fucking Terminator, when they go to Cyberdyne system, that's what I was showing you. That's what it looks like.
One of the contributing factors to why he's successful is that he reads at least 2 books a day.
How do you do that?
He's a speed reader, from what I understand.
Yeah, he read, and I think he also said he has a very hard time settling down. Like he can't stop coming up with ideas. His mind is on just a different level than most humans, and it's such a high performance brain of his. He can't not think of inventions and ideas and how to improve. Like you're going to space, you built a car, and you're trying to figure out how to build a subway tunnel system under LA to fix traffic. You're trying to fix traffic. I mean, okay. And then you've got, all these things, and you want to go to Mars, and dude will probably end up dying on Mars. Like he'll be the first dude on Mars.
He'll be the first one that has a cemetery plot on Mars.
There you go. And he'll deserve it, man.
Oh, I hear that. Hey,
But
why not?
look, that's the other thing, man. Like I was talking with when I had Tommy Chong on the show. I spoke with him a lot about it. That's another treasure of a human being. And we were talking about UFOs, we got into that. But I just always said, like, you've got to be the most closed-minded, self-centered person, in my opinion, not to offend anyone. If you believe in your heart and in your mind, really believe that we're it, so that even if you're a mathematician, scientist, right? You just got to look at the numbers and say, we're one planet around one star among billions of stars in one galaxy that's among billions of galaxies in the universe. So you have literally billions and trillions of stars that all have planets around them. Come on.
That's exactly the way I feel about it. I mean, how could you think that this couldn't happen somewhere else? Even if it was a 1 in a billion chance that it could happen, how many freaking billions of planets are there out there?
It's a numbers game, man. Just look at the numbers. It's almost impossible for that to be the case. It really is. And I think the theories that I always talk about when this comes up, and I can't remember, it was a ufologist, Jeremy Corbell's talked about it, a couple other people, but that the theories that come up, like about these UFOs and sightings and the Tic Tacs and all that there's a couple theories. One is we're seeing legit, other life forms that are existing here and now.
Yeah.
And the other one is these are remnants of civilizations long gone that are traveling interdimensionally. And they're remnants of an old civilization, and they're just checking us out. And that maybe there's cycles to the civilizations, like there's civilizations that are very, very primitive, and then there's civilizations that are uber advanced, like what we're seeing. Mm-hmm. And then you have us, we're kind of in the middle.
When you think about it, we're actually pretty young.
Very, very young. Yes, very, very young, but we're old enough to fuck around and make some mistakes. Like if you really look at the statistics, the sightings coincide with when the atom bomb started being tested, and they usually congregate in the areas in which those weapons are. So I don't know, is that a correlation or not? But people say, well, they're not in the Bible. Okay, that's cool. You actually don't know that for a fact, but they kind of are in the Bible if you think about it. Because if you look at ancient scripts, texts, murals, there's pictures of the same objects that we're seeing today in those that are millennia old.
Mm-hmm. If you haven't read it, I bought it. Is the Book of Enoch.
Ooh, what's that? I'm taking a note of that.
Okay, so Enoch, was in the Bible, and that was one of the parts of the Bible that was left out.
Right. A lot. I was going to say there's also books of the Bible that were not,
It talks about the Watchers and everything in there, and it's a great read.
And that's the other thing. Like, people are like, well, you can't be scientific and religious, and I'm like, that's bullshit. I'm like,
why not?
Why not? I'm like, why can't they come together and just? It's because I'll tell you what I think. There's too much to be lost by each because they're their own institution. So neither one of them want to be proven wrong and put out of business. But fine. Why? Then answer me this, dude. Why does the Vatican have an observatory?
Good question.
Why?
Very good question. Well, they're already acknowledging a lot of this stuff too.
Yeah, I
finally.
Think 100%. And I think it's been very indicative of the last couple of years, right? The whole COVID shit. If I told you February or March of 2020 that the whole world was going to be shut down in a pandemic, you'd fucking shit your pants.
I'd think you were a liar.
That was insane. You would think if I told you the economy is going to be shut down, the whole world, and that all this shit, and that this was going to, you'd think I'd be in, you'd think, yeah, fuck off. You're, have another drink. So what do? You slowly let it all out so that before you know it, you've got all the information in front of you, but I've given it to you real slow and easy. Just like Whitesnake says, take me down
slow and easy.
Dude, that's one of the best stripper songs. That's the other thing. Whitesnake, do we need to do an episode where we just talk about what songs are relevant in what situations? That's an idea for a show. But
oh, that's a good one.
It is. Whitesnake, and there are a lot of other bands, but Whitesnake is one of the bands that's like made for strippers, just period. Still of the Night, Down Slow. And by the way, if you've ever been to a strip club, not saying I have, but you're always going to hear one of those, dude. Always. You're always going to hear Cowboy by Kid Rock. You're always going to hear
Cherry Pie.
I mean, you're always going to, it's like those stripper classics. But they gave it to us slow and easy. And I think the same thing for sure is happening with the UFOs. And I love how they have to say, they give it a new acronym. The UAPs, I'm like, that's just dumb, but okay, that makes you feel better. Unidentified aerial phenomenon, what's the difference? I get actually why they're doing that, because they're saying it's a phenomenon, not necessarily a object. It can be intelligent. So I get that. That makes sense. But anyway, I think that's what they're doing. And it's funny how it all correlated. Nobody gave a fuck. Aliens were being seen and whatnot, but everybody was paying attention to whether you wear a mask or not. So it slipped. You and I can probably go all night long talking about all the things that we think and know to be true as far as what's being kept and what's not and all that stuff. But I just think that why wouldn't you be at least open to the idea of the possibility that it is something, whatever that thing is, that you don't know, and leave it at that. I don't think we all need to agree on what it is. We all have our own, but until they come and they like sit down in front of the White House lawn and get out and say whatever they're going to say, everyone's going to have their own opinions. But I just think it's sad, dude. Like, why? It's just interesting. And if you don't think it's interesting, that's cool too. But do you want to be alone? I mean, that's fucking depressing. If that
really is,
what's the point then? Just like, and I don't get religious. I really don't. Like, I believe in God and all those things, sure. But I don't care what you are, who you believe in, whether you believe in it or not. I do not judge, ever. I wasn't always like that, but I try to be that person. And but my point is like, if you don't believe in anything after this, what's the point?
Just end it now. Get it over with. I don't want
Yeah.
to be here anymore. You
And
know?
that's like, I have people in my family who are either born again or they've really come up on like Calvinism. And do you have any idea what predetermination is?
Yes. That's it. And I can explain that the way I believe it. So I used to be a preacher, believe it or
Oh
not.
wow, I didn't know that. Then
Yeah,
hell, wait,
I'm
I'm asking you that question.
I'm still ordained, believe it or not. So I do weddings in the whole 9 yards. But when you talk about that, God already knows what you're going to do. And it's like, well, then, why do I need to worry about it? Well, this is the whole thing. God has a plan, but it's just like when you're at a fork in the road. If you go this way, then God already has your plan when you go this way. But if you decide that you want to go this way, then he's got a plan for you going that way.
Sure.
That's the best way I know to explain it, because I mean, yes, you could say that your life is mapped out, but you're given free will, and some of the decisions that you make, then just like I said, you got you go to the left or you can go to the right. You've got it's the outcome is going to be that outcome because of which direction you went. When we were kids, remember those books that you used to get and you'd read so far, like a chapter or whatever, and then it'd say, well,
like
if you want
your own adventure,
choose your own, and you choose it, and this is what your path is. That's I guess a better way of explaining it.
Yeah.
You make that choice, and this is what is going to happen.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I guess it's different strokes for different folks, but I just don't. If you're a human being on this earth, you know who's right and who's wrong. You don't know that. You might believe what you want, but you shouldn't. That's the thing I guess I'm trying to get to in my 40s, is trying to be, just less judgmental. Just, it is what it is. As long as you're not pushing it in my face, I don't give a fuck.
See, that's another thing that and like I say, I'm trying to steer away from as much of the politics as I can. But when somebody comes to your door, knocks on your door and says, hey, I want to invite you to church, majority of people are like, I don't shove your religion in my face.
Right.
Okay, so when it comes to the stuff that goes on your TikToks and all that, where you've come up with this weird pronoun or whatever I've never heard of, you just made up 5 minutes ago, and well, don't shove that in my face.
Yeah,
I live and let live. You do what you do, but don't expect me to go along with whatever it is that you want all the time, because it doesn't work that way.
It doesn't. And that's why I hope that the cycle that we're in of nonsense is gone by the time at least my kids are older, because I don't like what I see in a lot of ways. It's not because I think I'm better or worse or anything like that. It's just, it scares me. It's like, you're that influenced by something that's stupid.
Yeah.
That's really scary.
I seen some guy, he says, you call me the wrong pronouns and I'm going to punch you in the face. I'm like, dude, you punch me in the face and that's going to be the last thing you ever do, because you're going to draw back a nub.
There you go. You're about to meet Jesus is what you're going to do.
Yeah, you're going to find out if you're going to heaven or hell in the next 5 minutes.
Come on and meet Jesus. But I don't know, man. Like, that's the thing, dude. Like, I talk about it sometimes, but, not to get into the whole, like you were saying, culture wars and all that. No, I'm just saying, like, from a scientific point of view, not a social point of view, but like, if Jimmy one day grows up and he thinks that he's a Jane, who cares? Let him be.
That's what I say. That's your life. It doesn't affect me.
It doesn't bother me, and it shouldn't bother you.
It shouldn't.
It's not affecting your life. And if you have to go out of your way to say that they're sinners and they're a what's the word I'm looking for? You're blasphemous and you're a freak of nature and all this. Well, then you're probably a little insecure about some things in your life. Not necessarily that you're like that, but if you feel the need to go out of your way to that extent to talk about anybody or to anybody that way, you need to check yourself in your own mirror first.
Mm-hmm.
I'm working on that all the time. I think as a man always should. Everybody should. But
Of course.
the one thing I do have a problem with, that I have no problem admitting, is the fact that I don't give a shit if you're a trans. I don't care what you are. I really don't, and I don't think anyone has the right. But if you are a man and you decide to be a woman, that is good for you. I don't care.
Go for it.
But don't try to compete as a woman, because you're not. You're not. It's not fair.
I have to agree with you on that.
It's not fair to the girls that have busted their ass for years and practiced and hurt, and they were injured and beat themselves to death, getting to the level that they're at and whatever they've chosen to do, whatever sport. And you, just because you had a surgery and say you're something, think you have the right to be on their level. You don't. And somebody's going to get hurt. Somebody's going to get killed. Because what if one day somebody like that decides to box or UFC fight or anything? It's not okay. And it's not fair if you know, it's so funny. There are like those, hey, well, all feminists should be against this too. Well, yeah, you know, if you like women's rights, this is something you should probably care about. My whole thing is just fair competition. I don't give a shit what you are. I don't care about that. But you should have fair competition.
Mm-hmm.
So there's the argument, yeah, but the men who have made the transformation don't have the testosterone that a normal man has,
but they still have higher testosterone level than a woman.
They do. And you know what else? They have bone density that's higher than yours. They have muscle fiber twitch times that are faster than women, just not because it's better, just that's fact, science. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
That I have a problem with. That's why I loved it. There was, I don't know if you saw in the Olympics. I didn't pay much attention to the Olympics just because it was, I didn't, the whole thing, I was just like, whatever. But yeah, but there was a dude or a guy, a woman, I should say, born a man, did the transformation to be a woman. It's a power lifter. Did you see this guy?
I saw it on YouTube. I haven't really I've never really paid attention to the Olympics, to be honest with you.
Well, the dude or the
dudette.
Yeah, the guy, him or her, whatever. She competed she's Swedish, and she was a Swedish power lifter, and she got fucking worked. I think she finished 4th. And I'm like, bro, the whole joke was you cut your dick off to compete as a woman, and then you get worked. That's awesome. That's great. Or like, it's like you cut your dick off to cheat and compete as a woman, and then you get your ass kicked. That's that. I love that. But yeah, man, that's the kind of shit I'm talking about. Like, people need to talk about things that maybe isn't taboo, but it's just, why not? I mean,
you should be able to talk about it openly, freely, and as long as you're not causing harm to someone else, you should be able to say what you want to say without being what they call canceled.
Exactly. And who is making up who monitors the cancelers, by the way? And how do you become somebody who cancels somebody else? How does that all work?
You know, and I don't get that either. I mean, okay,
it's okay. You're officially ordained to counsel the canceller. You can go, and it's like some people can't even make mistakes anymore. I mean, sure, there are things that are unforgivable. I agree with that.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you like to spend a little bit too much time with the kiddos on the playground in the wrong way, then I can't forgive you for that.
Yes, those are the things that you should be shot, or actually, probably, if you can be slowly tortured and live a very torturous life, probably better. Death is too good for you. Yes, but if you made a tweet that was in poor taste 15 years ago.
So, geez. Yeah, no kidding.
Come on, like John Gruden and this whole thing. I loved John Gruden. I still do. I think he's a great coach. I don't know what his email said. I don't know what they all said, but do you want somebody going through your email 15 years ago? Would you feel okay with that?
Exactly what you're saying.
I don't know what I said. I mean, who gives you the right to do that? And even if I did say it, if I apologize and I say, I'm sorry if I offended people, and I do take full responsibility, why isn't that enough? why do you have to cancel that person? There are people that deserve to be canceled off this earth, like the people you just mentioned. Yep. Yes, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about, they're trying to cancel Dave Chappelle. Give me a fucking break.
And I guarantee you, the ones that are trying to cancel him did not watch the whole thing.
I did, and it was outstanding. And exactly like you said,
I agree with you.
Yeah, you hear what that man says. You hear exactly what he is trying to tell you. He loved this person. This person was a dear friend of his that he lost to depression. And they don't hear that part.
No.
Of course, that's too convenient. Doesn't go with your narrative. So fuck that. We're going to cut and paste it, and we're going to make it sound like it should sound to serve our agenda. That's why the whole mainstream media is so stupid. But the other thing is, it's like this. I can't remember which one it was because I can't keep up with them anymore, but there was some group that was protesting the rights of some other group. I think it was the Washington Redskins thing.
Oh, yeah.
I heard the local tribes were actually like, we don't care. It doesn't offend us.
They want you to make you think that people care, though.
Yeah, it's like the people that were fighting for the rights of another group, that other group didn't even care. You know what else I think it was? I think it was the tomahawk chop, like the Chiefs do.
Oh, and the Seminoles.
The Seminoles do. Why is, the nation was like, no, we're cool with that. Doesn't offend our heritage. We're good. But yet, white people that aren't even native will sit there and be like, no, you can't do that.
Yeah. That's the funniest thing is when you see people that are white and they feel like they have to stand up and say, you're supposed to be offended by this.
Yeah.
Well, why?
Yeah. Don't put me in a box. Like I said, don't do it. Just what do you mean I should? I might be, but what if I'm not? I mean,
if you're legitimately offended by something and you're a person of color or you're gay, bisexual, whatever, well, tell me you're offended by it. I won't do it again. But you know how I knew who my friends were when I was at work was the ones that picked on me.
Yeah, sure.
They called me all kinds of things. And that was their term of endearment. And that's how I knew that we were friends.
Yeah. Like in sports, if your coach ain't yelling at you, you're not doing it right. You need to worry if you stop getting yelled at because they're just not noticing you. It's hard to remember that, like when you're younger or whatever, but I don't know, man. That's just why I think conversations like this are important. I think people like you are important. I think people that want to have conversations about whatever, with whoever, should be done always. And I think, again, if you sat there and you only spoke about and to who you thought was acceptable to the masses, is that really being free? Not really. I mean, that's not freedom of speech. I don't want to live my life that way, at least. That's not the country I want to live in. That's not the place I want to be in. It's not for me.
Exactly right.
I'm not saying that you should be this aggressive, uber alpha male, misogynistic.
Oh, I think you should be.
Yeah. Yeah. But what's wrong with being masculine? What's wrong with being a toxic masculine? This whole toxic. Give me a fucking break. If you want to, and I love using it. Do you know who Robert Frank is?
Why is that stuff? I'm not going to say that I do. I can't think of it.
He's a badass. He's a bodybuilder, but he made his fame by doing badass YouTube videos, and he's got his own podcast called The House of Gains, GAINZ. And he does all these rage videos because he's this big dude and he's, toxic masculinity. He's outstanding. Check him out for sure. He's huge, dude. He's all over YouTube. You can't miss this guy. Robert Frank, 615 Robert Frank. And he talks a lot about, he's like, would you rather have a guy who, I might work out a lot. I might do this and do that. And I might do this and that, but at least you know where you stand with me. Or do you want some, as he put it, beta cuck that sits there in his corduroys and drinks, his lattes and pumpkin spice lattes and shit and pretends like he's a feminist just to get laid, and he never does. You know why? Because women don't want that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Not attracted to him. Or at least that's what he's saying, I don't get it.
Okay, I could tell you that I do a show sometimes with the lady who's a therapist, and
Wow.
one thing that she keeps finding out more and more with women, that a lot of the women are single because they can't find a man.
Mm-hmm.
There's too many of the ones, like you said, there's the soy boys, the betas. They want an alpha. Of course they want someone to treat them right. They don't want somebody abusive, but they want somebody who's going to, they feel like they can protect them and that can take control when things are out of control.
Yeah.
They don't want this, oh, I'm going to sit in the corner and you just tell me what you want, dear. And
It's like yeah, it's like, but I guess there are those that think when you say something like that, and I say something like I said, that sounds hyper alpha. And you know what's alpha? Alpha is crying in front of a female, showing them emotion, being sensitive. It takes a man to do those things. If you're not doing those things on purpose, then you're not a real man. Like, that's the kind of thing. Admitting you're wrong.
That's one thing I was going to say.
You're sorry. That's alpha. That's also alpha. It's not this bullshit commercialized bad rap that I think that, whatever you want to call it, media is giving it. And yes, there are fucking morons out there that are misogynistic. I'm not saying they're wrong. But don't, just because you or I might say something like that doesn't mean we are those guys. It's not how it works. It's like what I said, don't put people in a box. If I did that, I'd be all alone. I mean, who would I want to talk to? I mean, if I limited everybody I spoke to that think just like me, look just like me, talk just like me, sound like, just how boring is that anyway? It doesn't make any sense. And with women, it's like, do you think, like, I can't remember, and I'm trying to figure it out. I don't know if it was a movie or a show or a documentary I watched, but the marginalization of women in sports, maybe that was it. It was like, by you're automatically assuming that, oh, that's what it was. So, when a woman is like a ring girl or does the, like in UFC, like is a ring girl or is a model for like a booth or a promotional talent agency, and like a Vanna White kind of thing. There are these women out there that say you're stereotyping those women. They shouldn't do that. You shouldn't make them do that. That's what. And these women are like, excuse me, I've chosen to do this. There's nothing wrong with what I'm doing.
Thank you.
I didn't need you to tell anybody that, because I can do what I want. And you, by saying that, are assuming that I don't have the self-decency or control or power to control what I do. So that's a slight on women. It's not a opposite, That's the kind of shit that people need, I think, to talk more about. Ask any of those women. They work hard to do what they do. But like, but every ring girl, like for UFC, for instance, they're gorgeous. They're beautiful. And then you sit there and say, well, you shouldn't have to do that. You go ahead and try and do that, whoever you are. Or like cheerleaders and stuff. They think that it's like this stereotype thing where women, shouldn't be doing that anymore. You don't have to do that anymore, honey. You don't have to do that. No, but they choose.
What if they want to?
Yeah, it's like no one's making them do it. And they're women and they're beautiful. Men are not. Fuck. That's their way it is. I mean, they're gorgeous. Women are inside and out better than we are. I don't care what you say. And you have to be an alpha to say that too.
Well, except, in my case, it's hard to be humble when you're perfect in every way.
That's true. And I got to get to that point, man. I got to figure out the book you read or whatever it is you did to get to that point. I'm working on it, man.
It took me actually getting my divorce from my first wife and then living on my own to realize what kind of a person I really was and who I wanted to be.
Yeah,
and there was a lot of things that I had to change in my life, as I was a raging alcoholic. I was a drug abuser. I didn't spend time with my family like I should have. I was a terrible dad. And when I got my life together and started doing what a man's supposed to do, my life changed, and I have more confidence now than I've ever had in my life. Even when I used to whore around a lot, you know.
Sure.
It was the thrill of the chase, and man, I bagged this woman last night, I bagged that woman, and that's the way my life was at that time. And now I'm content being with my wife. I don't need to run around chasing women. I'm happy. I'm a good dad. I love being a good grandpa, and I'm try to be the best person that I can.
Yeah.
And I want to be an example to other people. And if you can't take my jokes, and you can't accept the fact that I am a straight white male and I'm proud to be one, I have people in my life of all walks. It doesn't matter what the color of your skin is. And I know it sounds cliche, but I don't care about your color of your skin. I don't care what religion you are. I don't care what your sexuality is. That's not what defines you. The person that is right inside your heart, that's what I care about.
Of course. I agree with you 100%. And I hope most people either watching this or just in general should think that. I mean, yeah, dude, I joke around about shit, but there's a time and a place for it. I mean, yeah, I make jokes all the time about all kinds of things, dude.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't mean you're a bad person, or that you're a racist, or that you're a homophobe, or that you're anything like that, or that you're a pervert, or chauvinistic, fucking asshole, or any of that stuff. I mean, but I will say you hit on something, dude. I got a lot of work to do, man. I got every day where I think, okay, you want to be this kind of person, you want to achieve these things, I've made a lot of mistakes, maybe not in the same genre, in the same area. No, I've never really been a big drug person, or I drank, but not that often anymore. But, I've made a lot of mistakes, and a lot of the mistakes I've made were more about being naive, or being very presumptive and arrogant about things when I shouldn't have been. Mostly, if you take the time of my life from the age of about 17 to 25 or 6, that's where I base a lot of the time I spend thinking about mistakes I've made. That's where they take place usually. Yeah, a few when I'm older, but dude, I was a fucking moron. It mostly had to do with my relationships, or how I viewed things, or what I thought was important, or how I valued what I did or what I didn't do, or how I valued friendships, or what I put my focus into. And I'm like, bro, if I could just go back and do things the way I know how to do them now, but then you say to yourself, but you don't have to go back, just do it now.
There's got to be a starting point. Exactly. There's the person in my life that probably their words affected me more than anybody else, other than my grandfather, was my youngest son. Because when I was doing all those things that I shouldn't have been doing and just thinking about myself, my son looked at me one day and says, "Dad, I love you, but I just don't like you."
Oof.
And that's a dagger to the heart. And then when I finally got my life together and finally got a relationship with my children, I was constantly apologizing for the things that I did. And he just looked at me and says, "Dad, that's not you now. You need to quit apologizing all the time. You keep bringing it up, and we're over it. You're the one who can't get over it."
Yeah. It's funny. It resonates with me a little. My father, he's older. He's 83. He does that. He apologizes a lot for things that he's been apologizing for since I was 13. And I say the same thing. Dad, stop apologizing. I've already forgiven you for that. I don't even think about it anymore. But I think that at some point, it's reversed in what you're talking about. But even for you, at some point, you've got to forgive yourself and get over it too.
Yeah,
you
really do.
You're not the same person anymore. If you have to keep apologizing, then that means you're still feeling guilty about something. You shouldn't. If you do, there's something unresolved. There's something you need to figure out before it's too late, whatever that might be. So I think it's just the thing of it's a journey, dude. It's you pray to have the eyes to see and ears to hear these things. You don't always do that. And it's funny, as much as I say it consciously, I talk a big talk, but I don't always walk it, but I try to walk it as much as I can.
I'm my own worst enemy and my own worst critic.
Me too, dude. Me too. I will fuck myself up. I am the worst critic, yes, but I am also my worst enemy. 100%. 100%.
Gosh, how many relationships I sabotaged because I was that way.
I mean, for me, I look back at like, past girlfriends I've had or relationships I've had, even with, parents or, even coworkers. I can even think about times when, even working relationships with people I didn't like or things like that, turned right when I should have gone left, things like that. It was the way I reacted when things didn't go the way I wanted to that I wish I could go back and change. But I realized if you had, you wouldn't be who you are today. So
that's another point.
It all works out. You got to learn these things in the time in which you're supposed to learn them. And everything you go through, the tough things, it forges the iron that makes you stronger. All of those things. It's all cliche, but it's true. That's why, like I was saying about the book, the obstacle is the way. Because if you go through it, around it, or over it, you find a way. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that it's there. Deal with it and get through it. And by doing so, you actually learn. And I do not know how to do this yet, but I think you can spend a lifetime aspiring to do it, which is find a way to make the obstacle the advantage. If you do that, you're a powerful human being, period. You're going to be unstoppable in life. That's what I want to do for myself, and hopefully show my children when they get old enough to care. Right now, all they give a shit about is, TikToks and, iCarly and whatever. I mean, just,
it's funny that I kept seeing that in the little guide on the TV, and for the longest time I didn't know what it was. I was like, what the heck is Ickerly? It's
your grandkids, man.
And it was iCarly, and I kept calling it Ickerly. I was like, I don't know, that doesn't make any sense.
That's funny. What is this Ickerly thing?
Shows how old I am, I guess.
That's
dude
funny.
This has been a great conversation.
I
tell you what, this would go on all night long, but is there any chance that we could do this again, like 100%, soon?
100%. And I'd also like to have you on too.
Oh, please.
Like I said, I wish, dude, we could do an in-person deal maybe one day. But yeah, 100%. Let's do it again. 100%.
I get down to Houston every once in a while, so maybe
let me know if we can coordinate it, dude. Next time I know you're going to be here. My studio is my house, man. You come in, you sit down, and we start letting it just flow. Whatever happens, happens. It's like you were saying, it could go on all night. But yeah, dude, that was a blast. Pleasure to be on. I appreciate it.
Oh,
and
thank
it was
you.
fun. Yeah, I look forward to doing it again, man.
Well, I think we should collaborate more often. I think this could be a really good thing, and we could really help each other's channels out. And we get things off our chest. I think if you're open about what you really think in your head, and let people know who you are, what you're made of. I'm very open when I'm on my show. I've talked about subjects that a lot of people might be embarrassed to admit to.
Sure.
And I don't do it looking for brownie points. I do it so somebody out there that might be in the same situation or gone through the same things, they know that there's some kind of hope.
Yeah.
And these kind of conversations, I think, brings that kind of stuff out and let you know, hey, I'm a regular dude. I go into Walmart and I'll talk to anybody. I don't care who you are. I will talk to you and have a great conversation.
Like, I'll do the same thing, but I'll also make the fucking shit and fun out of people that go to Walmart too, because it's fucking funny.
I will say, yes. Sometimes.
But honestly, who really hasn't been to a Walmart? I mean,
I don't know anybody that's never been to a Walmart.
You may not frequent it or whatever. And yes, that the Walmart people, that is not a myth. That is real. But just because you go to Walmart doesn't mean you're one of them. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's another box you're putting in somebody. There's no Walmart box, bro. You're not in a box. Just because you go to Walmart doesn't mean you're this, and this. You know, so yeah.
What's
Don't
in the
put
box? What's in
What's
the
in your
box?
Dude, we could do a podcast just saying don't put me in a box, or what's in the box. I love that.
You know what we should do is get one of those card games or that cards for what is it? Cards for Humanity.
Humanity, yeah.
And stuff like that. I want to play that on air so bad.
Oh yeah, that's a great idea. That's a good idea. We should do that, and we should also. I mean, I'm sure you'll probably edit all this stuff out that we're talking about now, but you know, music and movies and
oh yeah,
you know, music. I know you're a fellow music lover, and I can tell. Like I said, you're a kindred spirit. I know you love metal, you love rock, you love good music. So, you know, like on my shows that I had, the 4 bands, 4 bourbons in 1 hour. That was my buddy Dan, one of my best friends. That was a blast. And the guy, another friend of mine, Brian, he's an instructional guitarist on YouTube. The best there is. I don't care who you are. He is the absolute best. He's got thousands and thousands of people that watch him and learn from him. But when you talk about music, at least for me, if you find somebody that's kind of like-minded about music, I don't give a shit what color you are, what gender you are, how old you are, where you're from, what class you think you're in, or bullshit. You could be rich, poor, mid, whatever. You always find like this.
It's a kinship there.
A kinship, and to quote Martin Gecko in The Second Wall Street, he says, "A fisherman always sees a fisherman from afar," and he's right. Same thing with music lovers, man. I don't care what the music is, but like my mother and I, she taught me a lot about music, and just today, she's getting up there in age, but if I put blues on, dude, I got a BB King song that is with BB King, John Lee Hooker, and Bo Diddley all in the same fucking room, all playing, all singing, and it's called "I've Had My Fun," and it's, to me, that's a treasure. That's just, So what? Before I go on for another 5 hours, the origin of rock and roll, metal, the difference between rock and roll and metal. Like if I said AC/DC, rock and roll or metal?
Well, most people think of them as metal, but they're a hard rock band.
They're a rock and roll band. Guns N' Roses, rock and roll or metal?
Everybody calls them metal, but they're another hard rock band.
Metallica.
Metallica's metal.
Pantera.
Metal, easy.
Def Leppard.
That's pop metal.
Okay, where would you put something like Tool? They're not rock, they're not metal, they're
kind of industrial.
Yeah, but you see, there's a huge difference, but it's very subtle at the same time between rock and metal, and I love talking about that shit. And it's, you know what it is? It's really just a difference of a couple of dials on the guitar and on the amp, and in the way in which things are kind of recorded. It's a tone.
The distortion too,
Yeah, it's a tone. It's a very, very unique, small little tweak. I mean, clearly there's things that are, that's metal. But, when they say like Guns N' Roses or AC/DC or Van Halen, that is not metal. It's not.
No.
It's not. You shouldn't. Van Halen he's a guitar god. Don't insult him by calling him metal. He's not.
Yeah.
Ozzy Osbourne is very interesting to me because Zakk Wylde, to me, is the best metal guitarist that's ever, besides Dimebag Darrell, he's the best that's ever lived, and he's still with us, thank God. But I always thought Dime was number 1, Zakk was number 2, and he'll even tell you that. But he was influenced by blues and by classic rock and by Mozart and by all kinds of people, yet he's a metal guitarist. So anyway, I'll go on all night, but we should do something like that too. Like the theory.
Heck yeah. Man, you could go into so many subgenres. It would take you days or not weeks.
Like I call it I try to figure out a name for it, but I kind of call it like the spiritual DNA footprint. Every guitarist has one, and I'll save this for another show, but I'll tell you anyway. Right now, like Dimebag Darrell, for instance, there would be no Dimebag without an Ace Frehley, without a Randy Rhoads, without a Tony Iommi, without a Buddy Holly, without even some David Allan Coe. Like those guys all influenced Dime. And when you hear Dime play, if you know what you're listening for, you can hear all those pieces in what Zach calls like the soup. There's a little bit of him in there, a little bit of that in there. You can kind of taste it. And when he's making music, he's talking about how, yeah, you'll hear some Zeppelin in there, you'll hear some Rhodes in there, you'll hear some Wyoming in there. It's the ingredients in the metal soup and in the rock and roll soup that we make. That shit, I mark out on it. I sound like a fucking dork, but not to those that know. You know what I mean? Like other people are like, who the fuck cares? It's a song and I like it. All right, cool. It is that simple. But I go deep, bro. I go deep into that shit. So we should do something about that if you're interested.
Heck yeah. Anytime I can talk about music.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I could do that. I could go on hours for that. But
man, it was a blast, bro.
This was, yeah, we've got to do this again. This was absolutely, this is one of the more fun ones that I've had in a while.
I appreciate it. Me too. I like I said, it was good. I really liked it. Genuine. I think everybody will like it. They should. And you know what? If they don't,
yeah, it is what it is. You know, not everybody likes Kiss and not everybody likes Van Halen, but they're two of my favorite bands.
But there's still something wrong with you if you.
Yeah. Thank you. But appreciate your time. If you're new to the channel, thank you for stopping by, and please come back. We need your support. And for those that are regular, yeah, I can't say how much I really appreciate y'all getting my numbers up, and man, the views are coming on like crazy. It's been a crazy ride, a wonderful ride. It's been a few years in the making, but it's happening, man. It's happening, and it's because of everybody out there that's either listening or watching us. So until the next one, please take care. God bless and peace.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Listen to the Vibes. You can catch us on Buzzsprout or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts, and on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook at The Vibes Broadcast Network